Welcome back. This is my last lecture in this course, and today we are going to continue our discussion on online auction issues. In fact, so far we have been talking about auction in general to have a background, but please remember, even if we discussed all this in the context of in a more generic context, they are equally applicable to online auctions. After all, in online environment, what is happening? Only you need you have better information flow. Okay. So, the issues that we have discussed are valid. Besides that, in today's lecture we are going to look at some of the interesting issues which are related to online auctions alone. So, in this online environment, if you look at various auction types, depending on the number of buyers and sellers, if you have one seller and one buyer, then basically it is a situation for bilateral negotiation, and your online environment has to provide a facility for that. And if you have one seller and many buyers, it is a web based sales auctions, and these web based sales auctions can be of both C2C and B2C type. Okay. B2C, C2C, your eBay etc., are your where a specific customer who is not a business seller is trying to sell, let us say, some old laptop, is a C2, and another customer is buying, it is a C2C kind of setting. It can be B2C as well. Similarly, if you have many sellers and one buyer, it is a web based procurement setting where we call it reverse auction. It can be of C2B or it can be B2B. Many sellers who are general, I mean they are not business sellers, can be interacting with a single business buyer. Similarly, two business houses may continue. Then you have web based exchanges. Now, let us try to see, if you have many seller, many buyer, then let us try to see what are various design issues and how exactly those auction mechanisms fit into an organization's business strategy. Now, coming to the design issues, while choosing appropriate mechanisms, because this competitive bidding happens with not much cost. So, therefore, English auction, which otherwise was not possible in case of many bidding and many environments like that of, let us say, for example, consider that of procurement setting. Such competitive bidding like that of English auction was not happening. It was always tendering, sealed bid. But now, because the facilities are available and the buyers and seller need not be coming together in one place, it is now become possible. So, most of this, so English auction now has become a dominant mechanism in over the internet. Now, second price auction, which was not adopted well in the traditional auction setting, has become an important option with little modification. Then bid constraints are added with much ease, like while setting up the auction, the minimum bid value and maximum bid value are shown online. Then auction duration is an important design issues. Many auction houses and online auction brokers, what they do? They have a fixed ending rule, like after let us say 2 hours the auction will end, after 2 days the auction will end, and some of them have flexible ending rule. This ending rule is something which was not there in the traditional case, at least that flexible it was not implemented. There are some auction houses who wait for let us say for next, they decide that after for a duration after which if during which if the bid is not received they stop it. So, which means auction can go up to 5 days 10 days if the bids keep coming, but if the bids stop coming let us say for period of 30 minutes, then they assume that the auction has to end. So, the ending rule is not decided a priori. Then having multi-unit auctions and complex auction format has become possible because of online environment, but it requires innovation in terms of designing appropriate algorithm, so that response time can be very I mean the quickly response time can decrease. Now, I was talking about different types of auctions and how it can be integrated into a particular businesses, a particular firm's business model. Now, look at this, they can have B2C, I was telling B2C auctions is a reality. So, B2C auctions from buyer, from business houses to customers, they can have this B2C surplus auctions. A firm may use auction to dispose its surplus inventory. For example, consider a computer company, a computer manufacturer like that of Dell, who is trying to a new I mean the old laptops, because a new configuration has come up, the old laptops they are trying to sell, they can sell it at a very low price, or to sell that they can conduct auction. In fact, many of the companies do that. In fact, you search for that and you find out which all companies are selling their surplus items which are about to get expired over the internet. Then there are many also use B2C as a regular sales channel, not their old or expired product. Then many even sell their second hand goods. You see the second hand all the car companies now are taking their own car back, and after rework and repair and proper maintenance they are selling it. So, many of the many of the car companies you can find out they are auctioning their second hand cars, reselling their cars. Okay. Now, then there can be B2B surplus auction. In for example, consider while talking about Tata Steel case, we are discussing Tata Steel is using this B2B surplus auction to sell, not only Tata Steel, almost all the steel companies they sell their through metal junction, they sell their scrap. So, it is a B2B surplus auction. There can be B2B procurement auction, where and about this B2B procurement auctions we have discussed extensively during e-procurement and reverse auction. Now, all these are happening, either the companies are having their own portal, but most of the time they take help of intermediaries to realize these auctions. One very important phenomenon in the auction market is auction fraud, and this is particularly true in case of C2C auctions. In fact, this auction fraud constitutes the largest part of all internet fraud. So, this fraud can be classified into 6 categories: non-delivery of goods, misrepresentation of the item is shown as something else and delivered, while delivered it is something else. Triangulation, here the perpetrator buys the item from an online merchant using some stolen credit card number and then tries to sell them in an online environment to unsuspecting buyers. Then fees taking. Here the seller after the item is sold, he adds many hidden costs to it. So, the cost, the price at which it is sold, now there is a price hike. Then selling of black market goods. All this, see, look, all these products are happening in the case of C2C kind of auction. So, here in this case, the illegally copied software packages, audio CDs, movie CDs, etc., games, etc., can get sold. Then improper, I mean such kind of markets come with improper packaging, does not offer any kind of warranty and so on. Then it has also given rise to another phenomena called the phenomena called shield bidding. Let us look at the kind of cheating that happens in the auction fraud market. Now, what is cheating? Cheating is unlike other fraud categories that leaves no evidence, no direct evidence of its occurrence. You will feel that cheating is happening, but there is no direct evidence of its occurrence. So, there are many reasons for which such cheating happen, and what are various type of cheating we are shortly going to see. And this is a phenomena very peculiar to C2C kind of auction environment. And what are the reasons? Reasons are false identity can be got, the false cheap pseudonyms, false identity somebody can get very easily. Today I have one email ID, tomorrow I have something else, I can falsely write my address and so on. Greater information asymmetry, because we are both buyers and sellers are not in the same time and same space. They do not physically see the item or check it. There is information asymmetry, what the buyer knows, the seller does not know, what seller knows, what the buyer does not know, and so on. Lack of interpersonal contact, and because in the C2C market for small things these cheatings happen, individually nobody is affected very much. Let us say I lost 1000 rupees, okay, 1000 rupees I can tolerate. So, let me not complain. So, if everybody will complain, naturally it decreases. Now, in fact, now from earlier days, now this fraud has decreases a lot because of active role of these intermediary these auction broker sites as well as government efforts. However, these cheating are can be either induced by bidder or it can be induced by the auctioneer. So, when it is induced by the auctioneer, whosoever is auctioning the product, the seller himself taking another name can bid on his behalf, just for the purpose of driving other bidders to bid very high value. I am selling my product, now I take a new email ID, try becoming a bidder and bid very high values. So, other real bidders in the market will get a false price signal and they will try bidding very high value. So, when I find that the bid value has become very high, I now withdraw. The poor fellow who was being driven by my false bids ends up paying more for the product. This is called shield bidding. The next is the bidding induced by the bidder. So, the bidder himself can place multiple bids. I place a bid of 100 rupees, then my next bid is 1000 rupees, next bid is even high. So, when the bid values are, I increase my bid values to that extent that other bidders, because the values of that product is not that high, other bidders naturally will not bid, they will withdraw. Then I will also withdraw my higher bid, unless otherwise there is provision in the site, I withdraw. So, as a result my lowest bid becomes possibly the highest in the market. So, I get the item. Then this bidding rings, which is very typical in case of industrial buying and selling environment. Consider a buying environment, the bidders who are the sellers to the organizations, they collusively interact with themselves, they collude with themselves, and prior to the auction they interact and they decide how to control the market. They decide that this is the highest price, will be going up. Even they can decide beforehand in this particular setting, in this, for this particular auction, who will be the buyer. They decide that ring bidding, that collusive set of bidders, they decide who will be the winner, and under next instance when the bidding happen for another product, they again decide somebody else will be the winner, and they control the market. The price they do not allow to go down below certain level. Now, we will just have a look at how auctions happen at eBay, specifically C2C auctions, because auction is the oldest, eBay is the oldest auction broker in online environment. So, we will just have a look. In fact, many of you must be transacting in eBay as a seller or as a buyer. This is pretty common today, but still we will have just have a look at its auction mechanism. Now, all eBay auctions use ascending bid format, which is a hybrid of English and second auction price, the second price auction, with the important distinction that there is a fixed end time set by the seller. So, now it has many models. First one is the standard auctions where the competitive bidding takes place. Then there is a reserve price auction where the seller puts a reserve price below which it will not be selling the item. Then there is a buy now price where which is the highest price. So, if somebody before the auction starts, if somebody offers, or even in between the auction, if somebody offers that highest price, the item is sold. Then they also implement Dutch auction, but this is not the Dutch auction that we discussed in one of the earlier classes. So, it is not synonymous with traditional Dutch auction, it is basically a multi-unit auction with volume discount. They provide a facility for proxy bidding with bid increment. Now, in this proxy mechanism, the bidder sets this proxy bid, sets certain parameters in this proxy bidder, and proxy bidder now bids on behalf of the bidder. So, which means the bidder need not have to be present all the time to chase how to bid. So, how does it work? This proxy mechanism allows a bidder to submit a maximum bid, that is his maximum willingness to pay, that is his, or in other words, while discussing economic consideration, we talked about valuation. This is his valuation of the product, with a guarantee that eBay will raise the bidder's active offer automatically until the bidder's maximum bid value is reached. The bid is placed by the proxy system is referred as bidder's proxy bid. In a reserve price auction, the seller's reserve price is treated like any other bid. So, as soon as this so when the proxy bidder encounters this value, it automatically brings my first bid to this reserve value, reserve price value. Now, again in eBay also enforces some minimum bid increment, and as we have discussed earlier, this bid increment depends on the price range within which the bidding is taking place. For a very high priced product, this minimum bid increment will be very high, for a low priced product it will be very low. Then bid increment table is specified by the eBay itself, and this proxy bidder follows this while outbidding the bidders. Now, these are various data available to the bidder: item description, number of bids happened so far, ID of the bidders who are participating, then time of their bid and bid amount, whether or not the reserve price has been met, the current ask price, that is the list price. The list price is the second highest price plus the small increment as specified in the bid increment table of eBay. This for people either personally or using through certain software, they are engaged in various bidding strategies. When they engage in bid, they follow various bidding strategies. Bidding strategies can be broadly classified into two parts: single bid is in bid engagement or multiple bid engagement. In case of single bid engagement, either you can be an evaluator, you decide your own bid and you give, or and give it to the proxy bidder, or you can be a late bidder. Do not use proxy. Towards the end, you start bidding, because you know the auction is going to end after, let us say 15 minutes, you start bidding. There are certain software which are called sniper software, which takes all the preferences from the bidder and who bid at exactly at the last time, so that they are not into competition and know the exact market situation and just pay little bit higher, that is following the bid increment table of eBay, and get the item. Then many people are also, while using eBay, they are involved in multiple bidding. So, in this multiple bidding scenario, they will be participating in, let us say I am interested to buy a camera. So, many cameras are getting sold, I will be parallelly bidding in all. My purpose of doing so can be twofold: either I am skeptic, I do not know I do not believe what the other bidders are bidding in a specific auction, and for a similar product I try to explore with other products what is the true price. Or in the same item, I can put multiple bids, not multiple items, same item I can put multiple bids to figure out whether people are actually, other people are engaged in multiple bidding. So, to unmask the true price of the item, I will provide multiple bids. Okay. So, with this we finish this lecture, and I told you this is the last lecture of this particular series of lectures on decision support system. In fact, this is the last lecture of this topic, that is e-business, this subject. So, though we have we have discussed, covered up almost every topic at length. Now, coming to this decision support activities in online environment, we have considered only 3-4 decision support situations and explained that. That does not mean that specifically in e-business setting the decision support is limited to this much. This should not give you this idea. So, in fact, there are many more decision support systems. In fact, about one data source, due to lack of time we could not discuss. That data source is customer reviews. These customer reviews are the companies are using customer reviews for many purposes. They are trying to find out sentiment of the customers, various aspect of the product which is being discussed. Even this customer sentiment is the market is getting related to stock price changes and so on. This is this. So, this huge data that is getting generated, that can be used and decision support can be made out of that data, and in fact, this is one example of big data only. There are situations, let us say another problem is now many companies are having both online as well as brick and mortar sales. So, how to manage their inventory in this kind of setting, how to distribute their products. Let us say online environment, I really do not know which, I just give my order. Now, it is the work of the retailer, online retailer, to decide which is the nearest warehouse from my request point, whether the item is available there or not. If available, it has to be sent to me, and wherever, whichever warehouse is nearer to me, I should be getting item. Again, customers are asking for bundles of items. In one shopping cart, they will be putting many items, and one warehouse may not be having all the items. So, getting items from different warehouses, combining them together and sending it to the customer in an optimal way, which minimizes the company's cost, is also a decision making problem. Similarly, your RFID we have discussed, GPS, GIS, many technologies we just discussed. With all these technologies, many decision support modules are many decision support situations can arise and can be implemented. But anyway, due to lack of time, we could not discuss all this, but at least you have got sufficient idea about what a decision support model is, besides knowing other aspects of e-business. With this, I finish this lecture and this particular course. Thank you very much.